All right. Welcome all. Welcome to this very special series, the Autism Care Support Group for all parents and caregivers across USA. We are really very happy to host this special series of a 6 weeks series, and we are so glad, to have Dr. Shan Lakshmanan, who lives in New York and who is a Harvard-trained scientist and also a health coach. And so we, through this, special series, we have been having these sessions, for the past 3+ years, and we invited different experts at different fields. So whether it's Ayurvedic, Siddha, or the modern medicine, and various other things. And as part of it, we reached out along with Ms. Selvi Amma, who lives in Chicago, near Chicago. And so glad, Dr. Shan has come forward, to offer this special series for the community, benefiting the community. And he brings, a greater experience. He has been doing a lot of research around the ancient solutions for modern problems. Yeah. And also without losing the sight on the modern solutions for the ancient problems too. Yeah. And, what are the different ways how we can really, connect all the dots together and also support. And Dr. Shan has been in the various spectrum with respect to the pain management, whether it comes to the nutrition, whether it comes to the organic garden, in various other areas as well. And he's certified yoga trainer, and he brings credentials. Those who don't speak, if you can mute, that would be great. I'm just muting. Yeah. All right. So yeah, let me just give a brief intro. Yeah, Dr. Shan, comes as a Harvard-trained scientist, and he also has, his own PhD in applied physics, and certified health coach, Harvard certified culinary coach, editor-in-chief for Vedic Research International. He's also vice chancellor for Siddha, and more than 25+ years of experience in Siddha ancient practice. And he also has some special experience working with the international delegates, especially around the autism-related research. He was very closely working with a few Siddha doctors and various universities around, studying this and what are the real, causes. We all know how challenging, going through the spectrum, right, the autism-related, challenges. It's a very big challenge or threat, across the world, and the number of cases keep increasing. And there's no any one dimension of source for that, right? So there are a lot of things, even the modern science is still trying to figure out, so what all could be the causes, how we could really find out the solution and various things. And Dr. Shan brings some, unique experience, and he was wholeheartedly, accepted this offer and, sharing to the community. So the special series is a 6 weeks series, and we had the first program last week on 18th June. And the second session is today on 23rd June. And this goes all the way till 21st July. And all we need is, even though it's a free program, please treat it as if you spend, you invested money and your time, your efforts, your energy, everything. Yeah, it's a kind of energy sharing. When I say energy sharing, and you give your attention, you get your questions answered, and Dr. Shan brings his experience and answering the questions. And this 6 series has multiple topics. So in the first workshop was more of awareness. We also covered about the diet and various other things, and what are the ways we can connect back into the roots, and looking into the lifestyle, looking at the food style and various other topics. And in this series, Dr. Shan is going to bring, as you can see in the screen, right? So inaugural and introduction session is what we had in the first week. And Dr. Shan may give little highlight around what was covered in the last week for those who are new. We'll also be sharing about the elimination diet, what you should not be eating. So one is about what to eat and what not to eat, right? And holistic passive healing techniques, healthy modern food choices, ancient culinary recipes based in Siddha, and powerful physical exercises for the brain and various other, right? So I'm sure he'll have more bonus in addition to whatever has been highlighted here. And without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Shan Lakshmanan. Welcome, Shan. I'm so glad to have you. Thank you so much for accepting this. In the meanwhile, Kalaisavya, would you like to say any few words about Dr. Shan or your experience with him?
Yeah, I have met Dr. Shan. Hello, Dr. Shan. I have met Dr. Shan in Dallas and Chicago Tamil conferences, and he gave my son a little brain therapy and advised me to do a couple of exercises for varicose veins, allergy and things. So I have met him 2 times. I'm so happy I met him, and he's very kind and very gracefully accepted to give us this session. Oh, I forgot my...
That's okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So we welcome Dr. Shan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Over to you, Dr. Shan.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Mr. Mahendiran and Selvi Amma.
Thank you.
So this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to, I would call it conscious, like conscious dialogues. We're going to have dialogues here. So for people who did not attend last week, there's quite a bit of information that was given last week. So just go through, that's very, very important, because I talk about microorganisms basically, that's very, very important. And so once you look at the video, you can make the connections. All my talks will be connected, one is connected to the other. If you miss something, you can go through the videos, and then you will be able to catch up. Okay, so you have to understand today, not just autism, or ADHD or hyperactivity, these kind of problems. Generally, we have thousands of problems. And almost 80% of the problem are connected to the food. So I had been in Dubai for organizing a conference last year, and there is a lot of problems. There is we see people 1 in 2, they have this problem, like what is happening here. So if you look at the kind of food, even though in the Middle Eastern culture, there is very good, some of the things are very good, in terms of spices and other things that they integrated. But there are other part of the industrialization that's happening, and that is really devastating. And you can now relate to every developed country having this problem, and nowadays developing countries having bigger problems. So mostly, see, if you look at input and output system. So look at any system. So if you have a system like, say, for an engine, a car engine, you can say a petrol car engine. So you're trying to put a crude oil into a refined oil engine, you know, an engine that can run through refined oil. What happens? It cannot sustain. The engine cannot sustain this. So likewise, our body is programmed to be in a certain way through evolution. Now we evolved further. Like, see, we have been as animals, we lived as animals, we lived, you know, say for example, a tiger will eat another goat or, you know, deer, just like that. But we humans don't eat, and we see that red meat is causing a lot of problems. So now we come to a refined way because we have evolved and come far away, that we got, human beings got some freedom. We have some 3 degrees of freedoms, I can say. So what are the 3 degrees of freedom humans have which animals do not have? So this has been explained in our ancient science. One is the freedom to use the physical body. Another one is to use the freedom to use the mind or the life force. And the third one is the freedom for consumerism. So in all these 3, we are different compared to animals. How are we different? You can ask, you know, how are we different, right? So I wanted to ask you, do you find any other difference? Don't go by books. I don't want, you know, animal cell, plant cell, all those kind of things. That's, you just tell me, how are we different than an animal? So if you do something, we say don't behave like an animal. When do you call that? When do people tell us do not behave like an animal? When does that happen? What kind of animal? What kind of animal do they mean when they say this?
Dog.
Dog, what does dog do? Dog does nothing.
Dr. Shan, sorry to interrupt. Can you fold the laptop a little bit so that, you know, we can see your, yeah, this is
This
good.
way? Okay.
Little more, just a very little more. Yeah, this is good. This is good.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So go ahead. Go ahead. So when do we say, you know, you behave like an animal?
When we don't use our pagutariyu, what is it? From the animal, we have the special thing from the animal. That's what differentiates us from the animals.
Right, right. But when do we, what kind of animal usually we think? When we say somebody, you don't behave like an animal, what kind of animal do we think that the person is behaving like?
All these animals like tiger, lion, they don't, I would say that even in Tamil, we used to say the cobra, even if you daily feed the cobra, it doesn't think of that one day it might bite us. So,
Nallapambu. Okay.
Nallapambu. It might bite us.
So we are talking about anybody else? What kind of animal we refer?
Cat who can be ruthless and harm others.
That's a point there. Ruthless and harm others. Anybody else? This will be the beginning class and I will end this way. Okay, this will be the end class also. The last class also will be this. but by then you will be matured. So you go ahead, please. Come on, come on. Everyone throw something.
Yeah, few are also typing in the chat, so you may also
No
check.
impulse control. Okay. Uncultured. When we are selfish. Okay.
Aggression.
Well, yes.
Aggressiveness.
Aggression. So
Another one
yes.
is foolish behavior, like donkey.
Donkey. Okay. Foolish. Yeah, right. So what kind of donkey, what does it do? It is foolish. Monkey. What about monkey?
He imitates, he's still a smarter animal, I would say, resembles human being.
Yeah, compared to human being, maybe monkeys are better, I think. But still you have, like, you compare, Injit in Kurung, I mean, Kurung don't give flower to the monkey's, hand. It doesn't know the value,
Great.
right? So animals we are referring here, or we are looking at the harmful effect of things. So because they have limited, the animals have limited perspective, and usually we refer to violent animals, usually. But if we also become, sometimes we talk about pigs, donkeys, all these kind of things. If you're a little sluggish, we do something else, that's a character. That's a character. So we do, the idea that, human beings, we evolved from animals. Animals are our ancestors. But we limit ourselves thinking that we are only, our great grandparent, something like that. So we always connect, and maybe we think that we belong to one kind of a religion or one kind of ancestry, language or some other thing, race. But before that, what were we? So we were our trees, we were animals. Those are our ancestors. We evolved from inside us. It's not outside us. So animal is inbuilt in us, right? So, but we don't want to live like animals anymore. So we have refined. As a human being, we have the animal characteristics. There are good and bad, but we are choosing the good part of animals. As a human being, see animals, they don't cook and eat. We cook and eat. Animals don't sit and meditate. We meditate. So you see the difference, so there are 3 degrees of freedom we have. We have a physical body, mind, freedom for mind, and freedom, that's the thought force, for thinking, and the freedom for consumerism, consuming. These 3 degrees of freedom is not available with animals. For example, you can do a yoga posture. You can do Adimurai Pairsi, something, you will take a stick and you can do anything in this body, you are very flexible. You can fly, you can swim, all kind of things you do. You learn new things. This body, you can build 6 packs, muscles and things like that. Animals, they don't do that. They are limited. They, maybe they do 1 or 2 things, but they are not like expanded into all these kind of things that their body is so flexible to do things. Human beings can do like animals. We have amazing, some personality, they are very flexible, acrobatism and all this kind of thing, you know. All kind of things we can do. So flexibility of, so how are we different? We're different in physical body. You know, we have evolved. We have freedom for that physical body. As a freedom we got from consciousness. And the second freedom is the freedom for thinking, thought force, using your thought force. See, if you train a certain animal in a certain way, they do the same thing. They do not think new. Very rarely some animals, they are clever to do things, but that is also limited way. They don't do many perspective. They don't think about what happens, global warming, right? Like that. You know, if you take a dog and every time, you know, you're showing the mirror, every time it will bark. Every time it is thinking there's another dog there, friend or foe. But every time it's thinking is that there is another animal there. But humans understand that. So humans are in the topmost part of evolution, right? We cannot compare us with like animals, but in a soul level we all are same. It's our ancestor soul. But in the mind level we have evolved. Okay, same way. See, if you take a spider or a honey comb, you know, the honeybees, they form their house. Thousands of years, whatever they formed, the same house only. Spiders means this is the spider structure. Cocoon bird means like cocoon only. But if you look at human beings, you find any kind of house today, you buy in built in plastic, wood, whatever you get, you know, there are different kind of, you know, fashion, other things you change. Houses are very different. If you look few thousand years ago, you know, houses were so different. So today houses are different. Or today you have, you know, like they don't go for clothing. We are wearing different kind of clothes, you know. We eat different things. We are not just eating only grass every day, same old grass. If you give a cow a grass, it'll just eat and be happy with that. But we never happy with one kind of food. We want to try that, try this, you know, kind of thing. So this is freedom of consumerism. So these three, we are different. So why we really have problems when we have all these three different? What is the problem? Animals don't have this kind of autism spectrum and all, you know, going out. You call a cow, it will come. Every time you call, you know, it's not like going to listen somewhere and be thinking about something else. You know, you call your dog, dogs do not have this problem. Every time you call name, it will come here only. Unless you have physical damage or something, that's a different story. But otherwise, mental problem, they don't have problem like human beings. So even though we have all these 3 degrees of freedom, why are human beings suffering such problems?
GMO
Because we are,
food.
yes, you tell me.
I believe it's the wrong food. Processed food, GMO food, junk food. I would say the environmental toxins.
Okay, so what it means to the, what is that in all these 3? Where it comes under?
The nature, the food, you know, we are supposed to.
No, I told the 3 things.
Yes.
Where does that come under?
Freedom to use physical body, I would say. We are not,
physical
eating the
body.
right food, you know. We are
No, freedom to use the physical body is to do the flexibility like exercise or walking or doing something.
Maybe consumerism, you would say there's consumerism and,
Exactly. Consumerism. So freedom to consume. Right. So freedom to consume means, so that is the kind of, this is an input. So this consumerism is what is it? It's an input, right?
Yeah.
So it's an input means you're giving in, right? Input.
Yeah.
And therefore it will produce an output. So let us see what are the other inputs. What are other inputs apart from this consumer? What all we consume? You tell me. Others, just throw up something. What are the other things that we consume? Thoughts. Okay. Conversation. Yes. Beliefs. I want you to be more specific. More specific. Like food, food is one thing. It's solid. We consume air.
Water.
Okay, that's a good one. Water, okay, that's liquid. Let's put where it's in the mouth. So what else?
Air we breathe. We don't
We
breathe.
breathe in.
Mm.
What else do we consume? I'll give you one Aranagari song. I don't know if you know Tamil, you will enjoy this. Yes. ஆறுமுகமான பொருள் நீயருளல் வேண்டும் ஆதி அருணாச்சலம் அமர்ந்த பெருமானே. ஆறுமுகமான பொருள். So Arunagirinadar, he talks about our sage scientist, all the different transformations, 5 transformation. It comes to the finally 6th transformation. What is the 6th transformation? That is the thought force. But before this thought force comes, how are we consuming? She talks about Valli, Mogam, Mananda Mugamundra, all one face. They talk about, sage scientists, they talk about one face. What is one face? Mugamundra. The Armugam is a 6-face God. So God means the symbolism. This is not like real God. They talk about some concepts. It's a scientific concept. So they talk about a 6-faced God because they have to represent something, like a symbolic way. So they talk about the 6 transformations happening in a human. So all the 5 transformations happen. Maybe 5.5 transformation happens in animals, but 6th transformation happens in human being. So 5 transformations happens through the 5 senses. So remember, these are inputs. So vision, right? Rupa, you're right. So now you're getting vision. So what are the inputs now? Our eyes, vision, video. Through our ears, sound, audio. What do we get from nose? Is that an input or no?
Yes.
What is an input? What do we do through nose?
Smells, let's say if they're essential oils, if we diffuse them, smell
that
can
is a
heal
smell.
us. Yeah.
Exactly. So smell
Even the
is
odors, yeah.
Air is different, smell is different.
Yes.
Okay, eating is different, tongue tasting is different. Taste is a transformation. Transformation is an independent input. Even without eating, if you taste, it will have an effect on you. So one sage scientist, Vallalari, says in the morning, it's called Valale Eduttal. Valale Eduttal means he will tell, take some Karisale. Karisale is ancient Bringraj, you know, we call it Bringraj. But in Karisale, in Tamil, we have like Manjal, like Karisale. So you take a little bit of that, he says you rub on the top, you know, upper palate. It's only rubbing there, tasting in the morning. Too miraculous. It's one of the healing thing for autism also. Okay, so we'll go into that chapters later. But touching itself, the tongue touching without even the food going inside will have an independent effect on the body. It's an input. So I used to be a tea taster a long time back. Okay. So this is like, you know, 25-30 years back. We used to have tea estates, and most of the time, you know, tea business and tea company, all this kind of thing, estates. So the tea, there's no machine to say whether this is right tea or not. So we used to buy tea from Assam and mix with the Nilgiri tea, you know. So we taste the tea to see whether, you know, you'll keep it here and see whether it's a good tea or not. You can sense it. It's a good tea or bad tea. But only we don't drink that. We just keep it here and spit it. But we will be able to say whether it's a good tea or not. Will that have would that have an effect on me since I spit it? I did not drink it. Nothing happened to my body.
Yes.
So it would definitely have an effect even without, you know, consuming inside.
Because
so
the tongue
transformations travel like light. Like how signals are traveling, it will travel throughout the body through another mechanism very fast. So it doesn't travel through like how food we are eating and solid. So these are amazing findings of our ancient science. So tongue, smell, you know, the sight, the video, audio, and then what? And then what? You tell me the last one.
touch,
Touch.
the feelings, touch.
So touch is an input. Okay. So touch is what kind of input is that? What do you have? You can sense heat, cold. It's a sensation.
Softness, hardness.
Any kind of pressure. But generally we call heat, cold. You know, you can find heat, cold sensations. You know, pressure sensation, different kind of pressures. You know. And, you know, so these are inputs. So how you feel it is going to impact you. Your body will be impacted. So there are 5 kind of therapies related to this. So I will be doing on photomedicine. One of them I will do on the light. Taste also we have. I don't know if we have time, we'll do taste also. All these 5 therapies are there. Through 5 therapies, I will be doing touch also because that is part of the Varmam. But we won't have time for all the things. I'll give you a little simple. Everything takes a very big, you know, 2-3 classes for only understanding each and every. So the using the senses, the inputs, we can make changes. How we are changing the food, by changing the inputs, we can change and transform the body. So that is the ancient Siddha technology. They understood this body and only these are the inputs. There is nothing else. Inputs only have to come through this. Otherwise the input is some other way it is coming, that is not recognized by this physical body. That's another kind of input that you have to go to astral body, causal body and all. So we are not going there. So for the physical body, these 5 transformations are very, very important. That's an inputs. All these inputs will have an effect on the body. So you remember this. This is a very, very, very fundamental. With these fundamentals only we are going into these subjects. So, okay. So you are seeing this input. Every day you are watching some violence for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It's very nice. It's a very fine, this person, and you know, you're doing some video game or something, or Tamil Telugu movie where, you know, this hero will kill another person, will come and kill him, like that. So it's very interesting, nicely taken, nice, good music, nicely cutting and all is very good. So what will happen with this input? Will that have an impact on you? How would you know?
We tend to face the same emotion which we see. Let's say if we see something which is aggressive, we also usually become aggressive. If somebody has seen physical violence in their family, that person would, you know, either be very timid, scared, or become aggressive like his family member.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So we, because it's an input, it has to come out. Simple. Input will have to give an output. Okay, so where are they going to show? Suppose a person is there, you turned off, you know, the thing, and all this anger all went inside. So he was ready, he's about to see that, you know. So where will the child, you know, express that anger? So you will have to express the anger. So either it should be, you know, teachers, they cannot show anger with the teachers here, right? And if anything that goes here in the school or stress, everything, they combine all these together, and this kids starts to shout at home randomly, shout at parents, they use words, all kind of things happen in this country, in the modern world, not only in this country. So why things are happening? Is there anything wrong? So we allow them to watch this, and parents don't control many things. You cannot control also. So the input has changed. You're listening to the sound, you're watching, you're traveling in the car, the kids, they don't want to listen to ancient, you know, MGR or that kind of Shivaji Ganesan song, you know, N.T. Ramarao song and all. They wanted, we are in that kind of style, means they wanted like a modern, hip rock songs, you know, hip hop, all these kind of songs. And what happens now? The brain started to function that way. You know, 10 times you do this, because every song has an intention. What is going to do? The music has an intention. So that intention, whoever composed, why did they compose, that person's energy, that intention of that song, everything matters. Everything becomes a character in us. Everything that we are consuming through our 5 senses becomes a character in us. So listening to who even composed is very important. Who sang that song is also important. What mood that they were during when they are singing, all this matters. So the science is bigger than why we are not able to understand anything properly, because the science, this science is bigger than what we are talking about in modern. Modern has nothing. They don't talk about these kind of things. Even they don't know these are signals. In the modern science, they don't relate. In our ancient science, this is completely explained, clearly explained. how these are signals. One is connected to another, you know, the five senses. It's only they talk, all ancient sage scientists, Siddhas, have only talked about this. It's all beyond religious things. Only about, they all had code words. Code words means talking about five means Panja Bhutas, Panja Indriyas, like that, you know, they have code words for each things, right? Like that, they tell this, you know, in numbers, and they understood what it means. So they put it in a format that we can understand. So here the idea is that our input, how we are going to, this input comes under the third one, the body, physical body, mental body, and the third one is the consumerism. Inputs come under consumerism. What are you consuming? Consuming, seeing is consumption, hearing is consumption, smelling is consumption, tasting is consumption. So this touch is consumption. Beyond this, thought process, taking thoughts, how, you know, so these five goes inside, and then you develop thought, and thought goes as signals. So even a person, even without the five, somebody is sitting in this chair. Last week I was telling, somebody was sitting in this chair and they had all kind of thoughts, and then they left here, and then I come here and sit here for a few minutes. I can capture those thoughts. Thought is powerful, they travel. They travel like a wave, very fast. So within second, we make so much thoughts. Within second, we think we are not doing, oh, I am not doing any harm. I am only watching this video and sitting down. I am not, I am a nice person. You are the most harmful person. The harmful people are people who sit down and do nothing. Because nothing means meditation, our yogis and all did nothing means real nothing. Here, they will think lot of things that is useless, and they impact the universe, the planet, makes a big impact in a negative way. All those kind of dramas, all these things, and people want to just make money. You want to engage you to just make money. They are not giving the right thing for this planet. So we take all of this process inside through our five. Now what happens? The output has to come. So this kind of problem, the extreme information, when we have a lot of information, our problem, this cannot consume, you know, like our brain cannot process it. So that is what we are facing today. The information through our five senses is a huge that you cannot process this. The system is not built to process that kind of information. We are in a cooking microwave oven, right? See, like countries like India and all are going to be in big problem. Everybody wants to have a phone now. Look at the population, number one population, and everybody has the phone. What happens? All the waves, huge wave. The phone means is not a thing, it is a huge electromagnetic wave. It will come through you, pass through you to, you know, reach your phone. So if 100 phones are around you, think about it. A child is there, it will be cooked by this thing. And you know, already testing, you know, birds and all already die, 5G. So like 5G, they will go for 10G because everybody is using chat GPT is there, and now we wanted to use, everybody wants to make one website in one day, you know, like this. So we all are using, we all are part of this. Nobody is separate, because even I have to tell you this way, I have to use YouTube only. So there is a problem we have to solve together, but at least we have to only give in the beginning, we have to, even though it's a problem, we have to tell this way. Okay. So we are consuming so much, and the difference between this consumption, how to solve the problem. So young age, so much they are consuming, so the brain cannot process. So they go into zones. So it's called a disorder. Ancient science, we call it as a Vata disorder. But you can have multiple disorders along with it. So you alone, or you cannot fix this, you alone cannot fix this. What we can do is minimum. But as a society, we need to do this, because availability should be there for everyone. If I ask you to eat a certain type of food, that food availability should be there for everyone. If everyone is eating junk around you, how will you make that available to you? Yeah, okay. So when kids are, we are giving, like you take 10 kids, put very healthy food, make it delicious, healthy food. Another side, you put all junk food, even half delicious, not even good. What do they choose, you think? And why? You tell me.
The kid would choose unhealthy food because it's delicious, looks more attractive.
Yes. Anybody else?
Junk food, they are attractive and they are kind of tasty for the kids. They may not understand the real vegetables and things. So that's one of the things. Their taste buds, they like these
they got
colorful
used
kind of things.
Exactly. So they got used to these kind of things so much that their taste buds, that they would go for this. Even if it is not good also, they get used to that kind of a culture.
Yes. Okay.
So now it is difficult for us, even if you do good. Parents, how many of you cook and how many of your kids are really enjoying it? 90% of the family, today's world, they're not enjoying the family parents' food. They just want to eat outside and all junk. So what is happening? And information, you look, everybody is having a phone, and everybody wanted to look something, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, and YouTube, shorts, all these things keep going. Everything they just randomly do it. So the amount of information they are using a huge, they creating a little kids, 10-year-olds, they create a huge carbon footprint in the universe. It is like killing thousands and thousands of trees when they, at one point, of consuming this. That is where we reach. So the impact will be huge on us. So in an individual, when you are handling a phone, you are only talking about food as a problem. Your phone is a big problem. You look at, see, phone by electronic, it's an electronic circuit. Even put everything off, the antenna is off, Wi-Fi is off, still phone, when they plugged in, it is an electronic circuit, it will have a wave. Now add the Wi-Fi, you turned off the antenna. The Wi-Fi is and your Bluetooth is a local wave. That will have an impact on our brain and body. Then you add another bigger system is the antenna. You turn on your phone, huge wave. So 24/7 this huge wave is cooking and we are being polarized. Kids are very gentle. So parents, little kids, they will have 3 months or 4-year-old, they are giving this iPad and feeding this. They don't know this. They think that this is like having iPad is like a fashion. Oh, we should, this is how we should, they will eat fast, like that. We think that we are, and we also train our, their grandparents, our mothers and father, tell them this is the way, modern life, this is the way. You don't know anything. Now you have Google, you can search everything. And we think that we are very smart. right? And we don't want to go this way, you will feed it in a spoon or something, you don't know the value of these 5 fingers, what it does, these 5 fingers, what even touching a food with these 5 fingers, what kind of energy is released, all these things we forgot. So we just wanted to give food just like that, and we start with the feeding. That is where the first autism thing starts. When you start the iPad, when the kid's mother, when you're carrying in the womb, then you started watching all these kind of movies. That is where the artistic thing started. The ADHD thing started. It is not all of a sudden. There is no all of a sudden disease at all. All disease are long term. All of a sudden, even heart attack and all are long term. It's not happening by now. We consumed many things for a long time. Now only it is happening. That's all. There is no sudden death. Same way, this problem did not happen today. Look at what you did before this birth. That's why I'm telling you the micro, it goes beyond that. Look at the microorganism that you carried in your gut. Good microorganism, if it is, you killed all the microorganism, you ate the junk. Remember what you ate. Especially coming to a Western country, first thing will be junk. Western country is known for junk food, right? We forgot that these traditional foods are organic. The process, how they made, our grandparents have made amazing food. Few 50 years, 60 years back, everywhere it was like that. 100 years back, you go ahead, anywhere, whole world was organic. But in ancient India, not only organic, they have varieties. You have thousands of recipes. It's all, you can solve all problems in the world if you take recipes of India and give a different, because people even don't know there is a recipe like this. We make how to make Karela, how to eat all these things, all they don't know this. There may be 50 vegetables here overall in the Western country. In India, there are lakhs of vegetables. I'm giving an example. Right, in the many Eastern countries, especially in India, Sri Lanka and all these kind of places, you have that kind of biodiversity is there. Many things, species, microorganism, everything. Now it is destroying. We are destroying together. We are building houses. We are cutting trees. We are killing all the animals. So we are doing big time. But now it is very high time. We understand that this problem, in order to fix this problem, we have to change what we did before. That, see, for eye problems, I used to do vision management. Tomorrow I have workshop. If you are in Edison, please join. Tomorrow I have a full day workshop in Iselin, in New Jersey. If anybody is in New Jersey, you join, in Iselin, the Sai temple below, there's a hall, so you can come and join. So for the eye, I tell them the solution. Every time you're looking this short, the solution will be the equal number of time you see long. Like that, whatever you ate, now we change completely. You put negative food, start to eat positive food. So what are positive food? I'll tell you some positive foods. Very simple. So you divide food into 4. Divide food into 4 categories. One is a whole food. One is a partially processed food, highly processed food, ultra processed food. Okay. I will tell and then I will ask you questions. So listen carefully. So there is a person whom I know who grows organic rice, and they just hand pound and they send it to me in a jute bag. So what did he do? He did not use any pesticides. He did not do any chemical. Internet is unstable, it says. Maybe if I'm breaking, it's probably my side. And he did not traditional ancient Indian rice. It came to me. So I, maybe some little dust or everything, I washed it. I made food and I ate it immediately. So this is called whole food. Now, so then now the second level of food, there is a wheat that was produced, our traditional wheat. So they grinded it, made some suji, rava, or they made a flour, rice flour, and packed it, send it to me. I made something, some roti or rice recipe, dosa or something, and then I ate. This is level 2. Partially processed. It's a process. Between 1 and 2, what's the difference? If some air falls, I wouldn't know. It's all grinded there. If somebody sneezes, I wouldn't know. It's mixed with that. I cannot remove it. I cannot wash it. Maybe suji to some level you can wash it. But when it comes to flour, you cannot wash it. Okay, and I don't know what ingredient that person can add in the name of rice, in the name of wheat. Here, if I know wheat, I know wheat is wheat, the whole grain. But here I don't know. So more in the lower in grade. Okay, and then next level, make that wheat, and then I'm going to process, put some water, put it in a big chamber and crush it, and then squeeze it and make some little noodles, some pasta, some semia, vermicelli kind of things. Dry it according to the temperature what is required you do, and then how long it has to say, it has to have a shelf life. I'll put something components to preserve that, and then package it, use some kind of a packet, fancy packet, all these things come here, and it looks so very nice, it's good. These are the calories, everything, nice food. So this is called highly processed food. And level 4, make all these things, on top of it put some color. Let's put some red color, yellow, all this yellow, 290, red, this, the numbers are there. Put some preservatives, let us protect this. It's a sauce, make a sauce like this, every ingredient. Take a non-genetically engineered, you need lot. People are eating a lot of tomatoes, make a tomato ketchup kind of thing. Add some white sugar, right? Add all these components, new things, red color, let's preserve the color, nice. Fools are there to eat. Let us sell this to those fools. So they make this amazingly good. And we eat very deliciously. We don't read, we don't want to read. We only got education not for reading the food. Education simply just, but this one you just have to put in the bread, another thing, and you eat industrial junk. So this is level 4, ultra processed food. So if you are now, the homework for you this whole week is, see how much you are in one, your kid or you as a whole, right? How much you are in 3 and 4, okay? And how many of you are in 1 and 2 most? What is the percentage? You see the percentage, okay? Then after the percentage, you determine If it is more than 50%, definitely your kid or you or anybody, your autism started in you itself. If you are consuming this, already you are only autistic. There is no kid separate autistic. Already autism started in us only. So milk is the number one in that. Milk is the most highly processed food. Okay. Why? Because the way it is treated from the beginning, how they take the milk. Go research, do mad cow disease research. Mad cow disease, Google and see what mad cow disease means. What did they feed to the cows? Why did they kill so many cows? What are the cows that are here in the US and all other Western countries, developed countries? What kind of cows are there? Gene. Look at what all the hormones that they give to cows. What are the things that they make pregnant, that cows, how they frequently, like, your mother every day become pregnant. How much of antibiotics is necessary even for organic cows in milk? When it comes to milk, organic is a crap, definitely. You can trust on vegetables and other things, but not on milk. For ultra processed and processed food, do not go for organic. You're a packet and you're saying organic, it doesn't really, that's not the thing. So now I will ask you a question. Okay. So look at all the whole foods. Go for whole food recipes. It's the homework you want to do. Whole food recipe. Go for whole food recipes. Puttu is a whole food recipe. Upma is a whole food recipe. Is a whole food recipe. Fermental or whole food only. You are only processing here. Amazing foods. Amazing foods. It is an amazing food. Very healthy food. Oh no, I ate idli, my stomach. What rice you are eating? What kind of rice you are eating? What kind of urud dal you are eating? And you are talking about sugar level, that all these things. I'm talking about traditional rices. Use traditional rices. Don't use black urud dal, just like that. Use full. Make whole grain whole. Don't go for a process. Consume. You consume. If your kids don't consume, you continuously consume. Make your family consume. Everybody, make them less choice. Don't give them choice. Let them understand later. Today they will not. They will go percentage. One day they will find. So it's not just to change some kid to give them some good food and you eat junk. So together only we can make this change. All the nearby, if you are a parent autistic, another parent autistic, join together and let your kids play together. Create foods that are interesting for them. I'll give you ancient, modern also recipe. What are modern food that are safe, less dangerous, I can say. Modern food itself is a problem, but less dangerous food, because sometimes you have to be practical also. It's a real problem today because of our habits. So you have to go through the whole process. You have to now rethink how we have designed our food. This needs common sense. Oh, this is a protein, all this is crap. This protein theory, vitamin theory, this is a number one crap science. I can say that is, there is no theory like that. It's all made. You wanted to sell, you want to business. You say calcium deficiency. Why? You can sell the milk. You calcium tablets otherwise. So both ways, protein you can sell the some protein powder. These all are made human. Every animals rely on plants only for taking everything. Take whole grains, simple food, unprocessed food. As long as you stay in the unprocessed food and partial, you will become healthy. This is common sense. Do I have to prove this? Why should I prove this? You know, your consciousness knows. You don't know? You don't know if something has to process like this way and eat? So, now it is for the parents. The parents have a great role on their shoulders. We all are responsible. It's not the whole world is. If you're a parent, you're having a kid autistic or something, everybody has a problem. Other kids, they have some other problem, they have stomach ache. This problem is not just for you. Whole world is facing. So you're not isolated. You have to fix this. The whole world need to come to fix this together. Food has to be fixed. So we have to, governments will not come forward. See, kids, like some governments, smaller governments like Bhutan and all, they are completely organic country. Bhutan is an organic country. Why can't India make like this? We are talking about so many good things. Why can't India make organic India? Why? It's difficult. Try, anybody send hundreds of people send petition. Will it work? People will not leave this. Right? Some states, they do, like Sikkim is an organic state. So there is all millets, good millets all are in the Nagaland, Sikkim and all these areas. A very good millets organically they grow. All the ancient cultures, all tribes there. Wherever you have tribes, traditional ancient culture, they are very good. Now they are also changing. People slowly spoil them. So in the modernization is spoiling everything. You want to engineer, you want everything, you want lot. So you sell and make money to what? So they will not leave any tradition. In the name of modernization, any ancient culture will be destroyed. So that's how Native Americans, we destroyed Mayans, the African culture, everywhere. So in the name of modernization, this is what is happening. And we have to be very, very aware about this and see what is good for you traditionally. What did your grandparents eat? That is the food that you want to give. Even though you are in different culture, your gene, you have that kind of a gene that will require that kind of a consumption. Okay. So look for that kind of a food that is relishing and is wholesome. So any fruits also. If I see, we used to go and today I ate a jackfruit and custard apple, these kind of things coming from far away. Those days when I go, my village, there will be hanging, on the way, will, on the trees, these kind of fruits. They all are like 100-year-old, minimum 100-year-old trees. Look at the kind of biodiversity, they have like huge microorganism. If I eat these fruits, my gut will be filled with microorganism. So these microorganism, as I told you, is responsible. According to the modern science I am talking about. Ancient science I will explain later. It is responsible for creating all the jobs inside in the body. And they are connected to the brain. The more the gut is a second brain. So whatever you put here is affecting, it's a mRNA. Last week's, you have to look at the video. Watch the video. So this is what I'm taking a little long. I think I have 5 minutes. But you know, I
Yeah,
wanted
we
to
can
stop here.
have some Q&A and also the quick
Yes.
summary. Yeah. And a few
Yes.
takeaways also, people can share. Feel free to
Yes.
post your question. Thank you so much, Dr. Shan.
You're welcome. Welcome. Okay. So I'm going to, while you're in the Q&A, I'm going to plug in my wire. I think the battery is
All right, sure.
down. Okay.
Yeah, thank you all. Maybe, if you may please do the raise hand option, right? So just go to the reaction and click at the raise hand. We'll go in that order, and I'm not sure if we can have a lot of questions, but at least, keeping the time in mind, anyhow, we are going to have, continuous sessions for 6 weeks. All we could just remind once again us, please make sure that, just block this time to attend every day, every week, in a way that you won't miss even single session, because like Dr. Shan mentioned, like each of them are interconnected. And the lot of things, you can refer back, and the idea is how we can really bring it into practice, right? So day-to-day practice. So with that, we have at least 3 hands raised. We'll have Neeru first, Neeru Arora. Yeah, you can ask your question.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So, Dr. Shan, I have a question. As you told that, food is primarily responsible for autism. 80% of it is because of our diet. And as you rightly said, that we should ideally be consuming whole food, the first category, not the other categories. So I want a list of whole food, preferably with brands, if at all you could share that, so that, we should start consuming that and quickly reverse autism. I believe trash and trash out, as they say. And as you rightly said, gut is the second brain. So I want to know what all should we feed? If you could give a list, maybe traditional lentil, rice. And then let's say, since I'm from North India, they say we used to be wheat eaters. But for autism, they say gluten is not good. Dairy, of course, is processed is out. Sugar is out. But then, should we give gluten to our kids as their grandparents used to have? Or it should not be given as inflammatory. So what do you advise? What should be given ideally to quickly
First of all,
that is my question.
First of all, this idea that North India is wheat is very wrong. Number one.
Okay.
All North Indian culture before the green revolution, they had only millets. Even if you go to Rajasthan now, you will have jowar and other kind of rotis.
Bajra, yes,
Bajra,
that's correct.
right.
That's correct. Yeah.
So that is our traditional food. I come from a hill area. See, in Nilgiris, we had like this only, north kind of food only. Okay, millets only based.
Okay.
Rest of the plains, they had rice.
Okay.
So in India, the basic food is millets and rice only. We had a very little bit of traditional wheats, including, the buckwheat, the traditional wheat, very small varieties there. There may be varieties of wheat. I'm not an wheat expert. There are experts in wheat alone. They have, but millet we have experts. Rice and all we have experts.
Kodo millet, barnyard, lot of varieties.
All this today everybody knows this kind of thing. So a lot of people talk about those things. But wheat is not our culture. Okay. Wheat is not like a big culture. As I told you, there may be 2-3 wheats, but everything were millet based only. So gluten is not the problem. The problem is the green revolution. So what they did, green revolution is a process in which what the Americans did was that they wanted to feed, like animal farming. It consumed a lot of food. This food was not enough. So they wanted to genetically engineer. Corn and wheat were some of the main things, like oats, corn, meat. That's why oat, corn, meat and all, they are animal foods. It's become, right?
Yes.
And we get problems. So they did a lot of, so that the genetically engineered, when they tried, there's a lot of output. They harvested a lot. And now they don't know how to, sell this. So they came up with a plan. So the plan was to give them freely to some countries who are suffering, so that later make them use. And that's how, like Sudan, Bangladesh, India and all where they put it in New Delhi, you know, they influence the government and try to bring this.
Mhm.
So what happened now? People start using, because in ration shops and all, when you talk to government, get it in the ration shops, you get freely. It's when you don't have, when you have drought, you know, in a country in the north there was drought, and they started to, you know, get free food from ration shop. So they got used to this, and more it was consumed. Right now we are into a trap. Now we need wheat. We cannot
Used
live
to it.
without
Yeah,
roti.
we're used to it.
Okay, so this is the way. So we forgot, because the millets and all are hard work. Now we are getting freely this kind of thing, you know. So millets is a hard work. It grows by itself, but even millet is easy actually. Actually, growing millet is the easiest. It'll grow by itself. There's no water required. Everything, you know. We just spray, and only when we harvest, we have to harvesting is the biggest problem. Otherwise, it is very easy to grow millet. Okay, but we forgot that traditional thing. Now whatever is available, they started to sell more and more. They started to business, the business put into place. And today the problem is not with the gluten. If you take the traditional kind of a wheat, if you understand what traditional means and you get the right source, then you will not have problems. Otherwise you will have problems. Even nut and all are like that only. Why people have nut allergy? Because they are traditionally, now even normal nut also they will have, even if it is, because the mind they get programmed. You know, even, you know, after some time, because you are eating so much of fake, you will think that, oh, everything will affect you. So that thought itself will spoil. You know, the
Yes.
allergy system is like that.
Oxalate issues there with the nuts, but they say soaking and all, even your rice and other things, that also kind of help to reduce the oxalate content for the kids. It's helpful. But then, yes, you said rightly that nuts is also not that good with mass production and
Exactly. So
quality going
go
down.
for things that are, you understand where it is coming from. Whether it is, see, rice means, don't go for this IR20, IR60, like this kind of rices. Go for traditional rices that are not engineered. So for example, Siraga Samba, Maple Samba, Kauni rice, more rice and all are South India only.
Okay.
Millets, you can get a little bit of in South India, but North, I would go for like Nagaland, that kind of area.
Yeah. Assam,
The
Northeast. Yeah.
Sikkim, Assam, yeah, these are places for real millets. They make it organically. Sikkim is best. A lot of companies like that, you know. So you have to find a source. There are a number of sources. I have been working with so many companies because I consume this kind of thing for long now. And we thought of bringing all this, etc. And then we didn't have time for all, you know, changing the entire planet. We need people to do this, you know.
Yes.
Individual or organization, one organization and all cannot do this. You know, now Mahendiran also is doing this kind of businesses, so he may also have some contacts. So I can give you sources, you know, we can,
That will be
you
helpful,
know,
If we get
I will
where to
share
get
with
the right
Mahendiran and
quality
you
and right
can,
brands, that will be helpful. So that, at least we can start from somewhere.
sure, definitely.
Great question. Thank you, Nehru. Then we have SK.
Yeah, two questions. So, sir, organic milk, we had discussions earlier as well, right? So, organic milk is crap. That's what we've said. The other option I'm seeing is grass-fed milk, okay? And mostly in this case, it happens to be ultra-heated UHT grass-fed milk because it comes from somewhere, let's say. So, these are the only options I see. Locally, fresh milk is a rarity. So, the only other I'm seeing is ultra heated grass fed milk.
Okay.
If
So,
not organic. No.
okay. So the question for you is, what would happen to you if you don't drink milk? What do you think it will happen to you if you don't drink milk? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
I
go ahead.
mean,
Sorry.
nothing, sir. Only it's just that for children, typically we try to give some form of milk. That's all.
No, why? The question is what do you think will be deficient in them if you don't give milk?
Calcium
For
deficiency.
calcium, yeah.
So your parents were giving you for calcium, or what do you think, your grandparents? Did your grandparents understood that you require calcium, and did they give that, or why did they give cow's milk or goat milk, or you tell me? See, when we are little, when mother's milk was not enough, they looked at the closest that a little baby can consume. So they started to feed other kind of animals. So they did a research on this, and they found that the cow is an amazing creature. So there is something called later on you will understand, there is a nadi. See, you know, Surya Namaskar. How many of you do Surya Namaskar? Anybody? Surya Namaskar. That's a yoga.
Yeah, first.
Surya Namaskar is a type of yoga for
Yeah.
people who don't do yoga.
The whole
Telling you.
circle. Okay.
Okay. So it's like a dynamic form of yoga you do. It's a sequence. And the yoga is designed that you keep our body in a certain posture, that one of our solar plexus will activate. We get a solar energy. Even if you're in Canada or Northeast, you can get the solar energy from the sun if you're doing that kind of yoga, right? Or Surya Kriya and all these things. Heat generated. You can see the heat generated in your body. So that is because we have particular solar plexus, the solar attracting nadi. So nadi is a little tube in our body. Those are nadi systems. I will go later. Okay, that's all the Burma. So like that, we have those circuit systems. Very 12, there are 72,000 circuit systems in our body, but 10 are major, 12 we can say major circuits in our body. So here, the inside our body, that particular solar plexus activity, like that, the animals also have some kind of a circuit system. And particularly cow has a circuit system where the two nadis, Surya and Ketu. Ketu is a black hole in a sun. Both sides, like they become, according to Chandrasekhar limit, it's not possible. A sun has to be 1.4 times the mass of the sun to become a black hole. But according to our ancient science, the sun is becoming a black hole. It's called the Rahu and Ketu belt hemisphere. Rahu Ketu means, they made it God and other things. But in truth, of course, they are conscious. And but they are, when those waves, the Ketu as an influence, that kind of when you consume that Ketu, the Ketu has influence on those cows. And the Ketu's property, Rahu and Ketu has a property. Every planet has a property which is affecting us. So Ketu's property is for, the Rahu's property is for business and laugigam, we call it, worldly life. The Ketu's properties are for spirituality. So if you look at 3/4 of people in this world are mostly Rahu based. So Ketu based were less compared. So our sage scientists thought that if you take more of our milk through the cow has a Surya Ketu nadi, so it will be able to consume the energy from the Ketu, and now we have a Surya Ketu. So sun itself is spirituality only. And so they will have a different kind of energy now when you take from the cow. So they got this intelligence from that, and they promoted these kind of cows. like bringing like ancient, like a person like Krishna and all these things, concept, many cows and all, and like butter and all these things into that culture. So you feel like, okay, this is, oh, milk is a very important part. So this is how, this is our ancient tradition only introduced milk for the goodness. But today what happened? The same cows, we are creating a different kind of hormones to these cows, that the same milk becomes poisonous. Same cow only. They cannot produce, the way of input that we do on the cow changes the complete system in the body. It is not able to process the Kedunadi and Suri Kedunadi. So these cows, already the Suri Kedunadi, that system itself is destroyed, you know, and that is why, you know, we have a problem. So if you understand, it is not for calcium, it is for spirituality that we consumed milk, our ancestors. So you got spiritual energy. Now, leaving that and understanding this, we will get the spiritual energy. You know, understanding that, oh my God, this is the kind of cows we are taking this, these are the processes that are happening. Every cow, those days you take a milk, you just warm it up and eat, that's all, drink. Or you can drink like that also. You know, there is no problem. But today, ultra-centrifugation, you know, you have to do all this process. After that, they keep it in the fridge for a long time, and by the time it comes to your table, it becomes a #1 poison. So do you want to drink that poison, or you wanted to have, so what, let's ask the question. If you want calcium, chia seeds has more 40-50% more calcium than the milk. So take chia seeds if you're worried about calcium, but you are not worried about I don't think so you're worried about you know, calcium. You are worried about taste. You're worried about you missing your tea. You're worried about you missing your milk. You're worried about missing your curd in the afternoon. You're not worried about calcium. When you're eating, you're not worried about calcium. Oh, I'm eating this, my calcium will grow. No. So, okay, suppose you have good calcium, all the bone is good. Will you stop? Too much of bone, will you stop? You will still eat. This is a lies. What we are doing is lie. So now you can do the same thing with coconut milk. You create coconut milk, you can make a curd if you want to have that kind of a taste. Alternatively, you know, make fresh coconut, don't buy milk coconut. You can make a coconut, whole coconut, take the round part, grind it if you want, then squeeze it with water, you know, on a cotton cloth. Take the milk, you squeeze a lemon, 4 or 5 hours, you get a curd and a buttermilk. You can use that. Take some chia seeds, put in water and drink that. So you will have the balance. You'll be balancing these two things, you know. And then if you want, so buttermilk is there, curd is there, this there. If you want microorganism, go for Palayasur Kanji. Curd may have microorganism, same way. The Palayasur Kanji is the old rice fermented soup. If you consume old rice fermented soup, there are more microorganisms, very diverse microorganisms. Use traditional rices, red rice, kind of, you know, black rice and all. You can use that. And when you do, you have amazing, for the gut only we are doing. Every food, last time I would have told you, every food other than look at my last video, other than water, will convert into bone. Saptadhadus. This has been explained long time back. Every food that you eat, it will convert into bone. Okay. Maybe the spice, if you add a little bit of spice, bone will grow. So spice is an important transformation needed, taste transformation needed for growing the bone in the body. So what kind of spice, that those things we'll discuss later. So this is what I wanted to tell you. So it's a huge science now. Okay, so
So sir, last the other question was, so are you saying corn and oats are actually meant for animals? So is it like
They
I might,
made it for
okay,
animals.
animals. So
So
any
today is
cow
not
in,
easily to get that kind of thing easily for you. If somebody, your grandparents have preserved some of these, then fine. Of course, we don't have oat culture in our country, but corns we use from
mm,
ancient.
no, but if I find it convenient, if I like eating oats, let's say, any harm in eating it?
Why you are eating worms when you have thousands of things that are good in our culture? Why you want to eat oats? That's my question. Why? What makes you eat oats? How is oat good for you when you have thousands? You have thousands of things available. Why you are going for oats? What makes you to go for strawberry, oats, all the Western kind of thing when you have a lot of good food in our culture? So that's my question.
It's
You
actually
see,
convenient to cook, actually. That's all.
you're looking for convenience. So don't go by
Yeah.
that. See the health number one. Don't look for convenience. Give some time. As I told you, food is the high preference. If you lose your job, that's okay. If you lose your job also, it's okay. Eat simple food. If you have a smaller home, that's fine. Eat good food. Don't even think about a budget for good food. Food is the high preference. Budget means not go and spend on restaurant. To buy a good food, you should never think about how much it costs. Just buy it. Rest all is secondary. Food is very, very important. That's how much I can say.
Okay.
Everything, every problem will be, if you take these things rightly, many problems will solve, not just this autistic thing. I'm just telling a bigger solution for this. But definitely, the autism spectrum has to do with the food we consume. The more we go into 3 and 4, you look at your table and see what all you ate, and you compare. Now you tell why your kid, between husband and wife, both of you, what did you eat? What did you see? Input, look at the inputs, and then you see where we did the mistake. The mistake was long time back, not your kid. Now it's time for you to look at your kid and protect them and take care of them, instead of cursing them and seeing them as a real curse. Oh, is giving problem. It's not, it's you. You're seeing your kid is your own avatar. It is your own avatar, right? So you have to think from this side. Okay.
About
So
the spices, could you please tell us about the good spices?
most good spices are mostly we use, all biryani and all we use, like jeera, milagu, kurumilagu, valmilagu. Kurumilagu means pepper, black pepper, long pepper. Like that, these kind of spices you can use. Instead of using green chili, red chili, consume less. Green chili, red chili are not recommended as good. But in certain cases, like they can act like insect bite and other things, you can use them as a medicine. But generally less, eat them less compared to the spices. Jeera and all are very good. Seer agam. Agattai Sirakuda. That means it will clean up the entire body. Suddha Ushnam, we call it Suddha Ushna. That kind of thing is there in Jeera. So you can use Jeera, is a very good food. Black pepper, all problems, many problems, like thing. It can raise in the summertime, Pitta people should take little less. But otherwise, black pepper is good, very good.
Sir,
Okay.
what about Perunjeeragam?
Jeeragam is also good. Even though it is a derived component, they are also good. I mean, it is Karunjeeragam you are talking about. Perunjeeragam or Karunjeeragam? Yeah, Perunjeeragam, yes. Yeah, so see, Jeeraga varieties, Karunjeeragam, Perunjeeragam, all have amazing. One of the things that they have is, it's the same species only, but they all have internal organ fixing. Any kind of inflammation, they fix it. Internal damages, they fix it. You are hurt by inside, something happened, some damage happened outside, but it hurts inside. Swelling and all happens. Take this. Karunjeeragam soup itself is amazing. And it taste may be a little bitter, but you have to use like how, kanji, like how you make rice kanji with that, dip in the karunjeeragam and use. Amazing benefit. Like that, they are all are medicines. Many of the spices in India, they talk about spice. You don't eat spice means not like that. Spice means these two spices you should avoid. Spice is also healthy. Only for pitta people you need to balance. Make it less spice. Spice is also important. All 6 tastes are important for us. Okay, that we'll talk some other day. Okay. So try to be good for yourself and the planet. When you're making a big change. I'm not, see, there's a huge topic. This will go for 1 year. If I talk about culinary practices, what kind of food you have to eat. It's not just food alone. There are a lot of things. How do you cook? What kind of kettles we use? What kind of vessels you use? Where you store? Everything matters. Everything matters. It's a huge topic. But we'll do the best, whatever we can cover in the 6 classes. 5 more. Yeah. When I stop giving organic milk to my son, he is showing a lot of improvement. Yeah, well, you stop any milk, definitely. Organic milk is nothing. Just because you are organic, it's a processed food. It doesn't, in processed food, organic, inorganic, it doesn't matter. In processed food, you should only have organic. That's a separate thing. Any emergency and all, you go somewhere, you eat, it should be organic only. But processed is a problem. So you plan accordingly. When you're traveling, you know this is what will happen. You have to, so be prepared. You have to take some fruits, make some wrap, everything. Plan accordingly. Food is highly prioritized, So, and then if you plan well, everywhere you can find good food. Always you can be safe. Okay. So I'm talking very practically. Wherever I go, I find a solution myself, what I have to eat, how I can be safe. Okay. Okay. So thank you all.
I just wanted to add this thing, sir. So, for example, right, earlier days, if I remember, if people are planning for a 3-day trip, right, they used to pack like tamarind rice or something like that. And take
Tamarind,
it
lemon
with them.
rice. Yeah, they can stay for long. Yes. Old rice,
now that
when you make this food, they can stay a little longer. The shelf life is increased. Fermented soup, all these kind of things. Very smart.
Which we completely like forgot nowadays. That's my observation.
Yeah. We forget him. Parents only. We are the mistake, not the kids. Our parents started a little bit when they started to wear this chappal, slipper and all. That itself, my mother used to wear the first slipper in our village. That time she was like thinking that's a great thing. Now I know what is the problem in our village. So microorganism, that time itself, microorganism stopped coming from, from the ground. So, we slowly coming against nature, we just converted into this kind of a species with no microorganism, dry human being. Okay. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shan.
Okay, you're welcome. Mahendiran ji, you want to conclude? It's too late, I think.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Shan. Thank you all. And such a very, I'm sure it would have been enlightening. Yeah. And please feel free to, share certain takeaways, if possible, just capture, come with the journal, next time. That would really help, and treat it as if, you're attending this session series, with the utmost interest as well as with the total dedication. I'm sure, more and more values are on the way. Today we covered more on the foundations, right? So the lot of foundations, Dr. Shan has covered. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Shan, and we'll see you all in the next week. And I'll also create a dedicated, WhatsApp group for these participants, and I'll share through the email. Yeah.
Yeah, and you also share, everybody share what you made this week. What changes have you made in food? Write down and share in that WhatsApp group. Okay, that's the homework for you. What all changes? Because I don't want to just give you lecture and you go listen. I want you to make the transformation, make the changes, share. Okay. So thank you.
All right.